Now I have a ratty and extremely worn out firewood carrying bag that I need to replace. And today I'm going to make a custom pattern from the old carrying bag to create a new one. Hey friends, it's Barbara Sue at Kowalski Mountain and welcome back to the homestead. Now this year we are heating with wood heat using our wood stove that's outside of our RV and it's pumping the heat in. Now Philip has an old firewood bag that he's had for many years that he used in the house when we had a fireplace. And he really likes this design and he asked if I could do something with it. Well, this is beyond repair, and so I am using the old one to create a pattern to make a new one. Now I've already gotten started. I have started tracing out the old bag on some brown paper so that I can create a pattern that I can cut from. Now I had a much simpler idea to make this a little bit more simple, but he really likes the custom shape of this bag. He likes this pocket that kind of keeps any mess from the firewood from coming in. Now our wood stove is outside, so that's not a huge problem right now, but eventually I'm going to have a house. Eventually. And so I'm going to care about it then. Okay, so right now I need to separate this curved piece so that I can get this curved shape on my pattern. And I want to try not to tear it up so that I can properly trace it. Now this actually looks like someone might have fixed it for him before. There's some stitching on here that seems like it's extra. And it's very possible that his mom repaired this for him at one time. There. All right, here's the little end piece. And this is what gives that roundness to it. Now this piece I'm just going to trace exactly like it is. Now I really wanted to double the fabric. This is going to make that a little bit more complicated. And I'm not sure I can do it. Now I will tell you, I am an okay seamstress. I can sew, but I'm not great. Now that my bag is traced, it's time to cut the pattern out of the paper. Now, as you can imagine, working with a paper pattern is a lot easier than that tattered bag. There it is. All right, let's get the fabric ready and start cutting it. Now for the fabric. Now this is some fabric that I bought quite a few years ago. I did some videos on it. This fabric is a waterproof fabric that I bought to repair the cushions for the hunting stands. Now I bought like 10 yards of this, so I have a lot of it left. It's really tough and I've got a lot of it. Now, I wonder if this tells what I paid. Huh. Let's see. No, it doesn't. It does not say what I paid. I bought it from the fabrichwholesaledirect.com, and I bought it in 2022, so quite a few years ago. Oh my goodness, this was so challenging to wrestle with this fabric. It has a real thick, stiff feeling to it, so it's kind of hard to work with, especially because I didn't want to unfold the whole big piece. But finally I was able to get it positioned into such a way that I could lay out my pattern and be sure to not cut too much, to use it wisely. So I was taught you always measure twice, cut once. And I'm to the cutting step and I'm nervous because I don't want to waste my fabric. And the only section I'm worried about is this section right here, because this is going to need a hem of some sort. And I'm trying to work that out in my mind of how that's going to work. The way I was going to do this was going to be so much more simple. Him having me recreate his is what's really challenging. These little round pieces that go on the ends to create the pockets, I decided to go ahead and place my pattern on the fold. That way the fabric will be double strength to make it even more strong, but it also creates a natural hem at the top that doesn't require any extra sewing. On my side walls, I went ahead and used my quilting ruler to add a 1/2 inch hem to the pattern. That would give me enough fabric to fold over and create a hem on the side that would not take away from the sides of the back. Now I'm going to admit, I have no clue what I'm doing right now. One of my weaknesses is that I don't visualize things well. So I can't visualize if what I'm going to do on step 1 is going to work on step 2 until I get to step 2. And then I go, oh, that's not going to work. Which, as you can imagine, is not the best way to do things like this. Let's mark. Now, before I go ahead and do a bunch of moving the fabric around here, I want to go ahead and mark this center point, because this is where that center of that end flap is going to connect, and I want to be sure to do it the same on both sides. Alright, so let's start pinning it together. We're going to pin this end piece onto my firewood carrying bag so we can start sewing it together. This side went together really well. I was really happy with the fit, and we'll move on to the next step. Okay, I think I need to sew this first. It's gonna work. I'm confident it's gonna work. My face of confidence. Let me get my sewing machine out and let's just grab the bull by the horns and get this done. Now I think this is black. I have a really hard time telling black and maybe blue apart. but I think it is. I'm going to start by putting a tiny little hem on this. And it's only going to be about 1/4 of an inch. Now the really hard thing about working with this fabric is that I can't iron it. So I'm kind of finger pressing it. You know, now I think they make these little clips. That would be super helpful right now. Now this hem is on the reinforced section at the top of the bag. This is where the handles are going to attach, and it needs to have some stability to it to handle the weight of the firewood. All right, let's do it. Okay, now that that's done, I am going to fold this in half right here. So this is going to get folded in half. Remember, this is the reinforcement for our handles. So our handles have something really nice to hold on to. Some thick double layer. Now I'm doing about a 1/2 inch seam. And this is going to turn inside out like this. Now when you turn these corners, you want to make sure that those little points get turned completely the way they're supposed to be. And I am going to go back and sew that, but not quite yet. Now in the one I took apart, they did have some cardboard in here. But I am not doing that. I do not have a commercial sewing machine, and I don't know if it can sew through the cardboard and stuff, so I'm not doing it. Now I think before I sew this, I need to put a hem into that. So I'm just measuring a 1/4 inch, and then I'm doubling that over. And that way my selvage is on the inside of the seam, and this is going to wear a little bit better. Okay, so we've got this sewed. We have the side sewed. I do need to still go back and sew that, but I'm going to wait. Now I think I'm ready to sew this. Now it did change a little bit. Now there is going to be a raw edge here. I try to think through how to do that, and like I told you, I'm not that great of a seamstress. I think I'm happy with that. Let's sew it. Now that particular area is going to get a lot of stress, so I did go over that quite a few times with my back stitch. Okay. Let's see. It worked. Now to do it for the other side. I guess I only cut out one piece when I cut out the earlier one, so I needed to cut another one, and then we'll get it pinned in and sewed together. Okay. I'm excited. I feel like this is coming out nicely so far, and I really hate to say that because I'm not done yet. What? don't need you right now. Okay, this is Trouble. That's his name, Trouble. The reason he's named Trouble is because we actually found him here on the property before we moved here. I'd say we had him 4 years or so. I think we got him in 2021. And we were sitting at the campfire and I hear meow, meow. And I'm like, oh no, here comes trouble. Because the last thing I needed was another cat. And he's such a sweet cat that we had to bring him home. And so we named him Trouble. Okay, so now we're going to pin this other one. Put a pin right here at my center, and I put a pin here at the center of this one. Now this side did give me a run for my money. I think some of it was how I had put it together. With the first side, I pinned in this curved piece before I did any of the hemming of the sides at all, so I think it fit a little bit differently than that first one, but I do finally get it to an acceptable level and we can get this sewn. So let's look at it right side out. So that's what it's going to look like. I don't think you can see that very good. Here we go. So he'll load his wood in here and then he'll carry it. So now the handles. Let's just see how this lines up to the new one. Right size, looks good. The reason I wanted to do that is because I'm going to use the handles from the old one. But before I do that, we're going to write down some measurements. So this is about 2.5 inches from the point. And then this is about 4 inches. So remember that, 4 inches. Now we don't live close to a fabric store. There are Hobby Lobbies in, I think, all of our neighboring towns. But Joann's has closed. Rest in peace, Joann. I'm assuming there's also Michael's. You know, I haven't lived here long enough to know that. And this is ready for the trash. I'm going to vacuum. Okay. Let me pin this together. All right, I'm going to clean this up and I'm going to be right back. Okay, now I'm ready to put the strapping on, and I'm a little worried that my bag is a little bit bigger than the other one. So it took a lot of fussing to get this right, and my handles were not quite as long as I really would have liked them, but that's really not a big deal. I did finally get it to fit onto the sew. To say I am pretty happy with this. There's definitely some things that aren't perfect about it, but it's going to get the job done. Let's go see. It's heavy. Well, friends, I think it'll work. As always, I really appreciate you watching, especially to the very end. If you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, hit that button. I'd love you to be a part of the Kowalski Mountain family. Thanks so much. I'll see you next time.